Welcome to Wellness by Degrees. Today we're going to need 2 chairs for our practice. So we'll start out with a warm-up and some breathing exercises, and then we'll go into 2 chairs and a couple balancing, and then we'll wrap up. So we'll start off today with our 2 chairs. So we want, this is going to be the main one that we sit in, and we want the back to be in line with our back. The second chair that we sit in, we want the back to be facing forward so that we're able to grab it throughout the practice. So just starting out, as we do the warm-up before we get both chairs into our practice, we'll start on the chair that's facing forward, and we're going to press our feet into the ground. Remember to have the feet and the toes about 6 feet apart, toes pointing straight forward. Pressing in, engaging through the soles of the feet, really grounding. Having our legs stacked, knee over ankle, having our torso stacked, shoulders over hips, making sure that we're really evenly grounded into the chair as well, shoulders rolled back, our neck is neutral, spine is long. And to begin our practice today, just be aware of your natural breathing. Get a feel for if you're breathing shallow or deep. Just bring awareness to the body, to the breath. You can have your eyes opened or closed here, whichever is more comfortable for you. And as you become aware of the breath, we're going to move into a breathing practice. We're going to work on the Ujjayi breath, which is a deeper breath that starts to become a part of your practice and help with the flow and meditation of your practice. So take a couple more natural breaths. And then we're going to all inhale together. So on your next inhale, breathe in through your nose. And we're going to exhale out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth like you're trying to see your breath in the winter. One more time. Inhale deeply through the nose. Remember to have a 3-dimensional breath that goes all the way down through the rib cage, through the diaphragm into the stomach. And exhale through the mouth. Now this breath will be a little bit audible. But we're starting to warm up the body and warm up the breathing and really bring energy into the breath. So we're going to breathe again. Inhale through the nose and we'll exhale through the mouth. On the next inhale, we'll inhale through the nose and then we'll close the mouth halfway through the exhale and bring the rest through the nose. So inhale through the nose. Exhale, close the mouth. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, then exhale, close the mouth, and finish through the nose. Now we're going to try in and out only through the nose. So inhale through the nose, nice and deep, and exhale all the air out. Nice and vocal through the nose. Draw the air back in through the throat, through the nose. And release the air again through the nostrils. Now keeping that deep, full breath, that audible breath, we're going to breathe several times in and out through the nose. going at your own pace. Really working to calm the body and the breathing. Take one more inhale and exhale. And then we're going to begin to unite the breath and the movement. So inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet. And exhale, down. Inhale, lift the toes, heels stay down. And exhale, down. Inhale, heels come up. Exhale, down. Inhale, toes. And exhale, down. Inhale, heels. And we're going to hold the heels, and on the exhale, we're going to rock the knees back and forth. Inhale up, and exhale to the side. Now continue to breathe and rock at your own pace. Bringing the knees to one side on the inhale and the other side on the exhale. Coming back to center. Inhale and exhale the heels back down. Moving into the knees. So remember, you can just lift the heel as you massage around the kneecap, or you can come up. Make sure the spine is long either way. Our elbows are out, and you can lift and drop the leg as you massage around and underneath the kneecap. We're just moving through the joint exercises a little bit more quickly today, so that we can get to our 2-chair practice. And then come down. You might draw the foot out slightly. Remember to keep the spine long and the shoulders back. And we're going to rub around the sides of the knee and then pinch around the kneecap. And bring that leg back in. Moving to the other side, either lifting at the heel or coming up. And bringing more motion into that leg. And whichever side you started on is fine. It really doesn't matter as long as we get both sides. And then coming down, bring that foot slightly out and rub on the side of the kneecap. Bring that leg in, pinch around the knee, and moving to the hips. So I'll just have you bring your hands to your hips here, to the hip bone. And we're going to tilt forward, keeping the spine long, the sternum up, shoulders back, and come forward or up, tilting back. And remember to keep the breathing as you go. Inhale and exhale forward. Inhale up and exhale back. Inhale back to center, and we'll go side to side. So inhale to the right, and you might even bring the head to the right, looking over that right shoulder. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the left, the gaze might follow. Exhale back to center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale to the right. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the left. And exhale back to center. Now we'll start to move in a circle with the hips, coming forward. Continue to breathe, but breathe at your own pace. To the right, to the left, or back and to the left. Just make sure you're still breathing. And we'll do several times. And then coming back up, we'll go the opposite direction. So come down, to the left, back, to the right. Let's do that 2 more times. Down, left, back, right. Again, down, left, back, right. Wonderful. Come back down and all the way up. Drop the arms by the sides. Start to roll the shoulders forward. Nice big rolls. If you have limited mobility throughout the shoulders, you can just do one. You can do smaller motions. Figure out what feels right to your body and make your practice personal. And let's go back. So rolling the shoulders back and up. Now we're going to switch and we're going to do little circles with our arms. So you can keep the circles small. If you have more mobility or want more of a sensation, you can bring the arms into larger circles. So you can do the circle as large as you want, as long as you're going all the way back and forward, or as small as you want. It can be a very small motion. Either way, you're starting to warm up the arms. And go backwards, either with a small motion or a larger motion. Just find the motion that works for your body. Great. And we can stretch either down or up, stretching that arm across the body. And we're going to move into elbows just quickly, so bring the arms out to the sides, and we're bringing the hands in to touch our shoulders and back out. In and out. In and out. In and out. And then bringing the hands around to the front, we'll bring them into the shoulders, fingertips touching the shoulders, and back out. And do that several times to the front. And then bring the hands, palms down, and we're just going to roll the wrists. Rolling outwards to begin, and then back in. Wonderful. Bringing the arms back to mountain pose. Now you can keep the hands pressing down into the lap, or you can bring the hands up to support the neck. So wherever you're more comfortable, we'll begin neck movement. So just bringing the neck up and back, supporting it with your hands, or keeping it long. Try not to drop it too far forward or back to avoid injury. Go side to side, whichever side you want. And then begin to circle the neck around, starting at whatever direction you prefer, whatever is more comfortable to you, and going back the other way. Just starting out our practice nice and slow. Wonderful. Coming back to mountain. Regaining that breath if you've lost it throughout our warm-up. Okay, we're going to move over to our other chair. So from here, make sure that you have some space in between your two chairs. so that you're able to lift and lower the legs. If you want, I'm not going to do adaptations for keeping the legs on the ground, but if you're more comfortable, you can go throughout this whole practice with the legs on the ground and just kind of follow to the extent you can what I'm doing on the chair. So legs down the whole practice is completely acceptable. If you are comfortable with bringing the legs up, just bring them one at a time onto the chair. Make sure that you're steady. We're still wanting to be a little bit forward from the back of our chair, so if you need to scoot up a little bit, we still want the spine to be nice and long and the shoulders rolled back, which becomes slightly more challenging when the legs are out in front of us, but this will help us to gain a lot of length and flexibility. So it's okay if your knees are slightly bent here. You can straighten them out all the way or keep them slightly bent. We want to be pulling the toes up and back towards us, as if our feet are pressed against a wall. So find your nice tall pose here, and we're going to tuck the chin slightly, looking out towards the toes, and just sit nice and tall. So you can keep the hands on the legs. You can bring the hands to the side of the chair to kind of help roll the shoulders back and straighten up through the spine. And from here, I want you to work on lengthening the legs. So the knees might be bent. If the knees are bent, you're working to just pull the heels out a little bit more. If the knees are straight, you're working on lifting up and pulling your torso forward. So wherever we are, we're going to find the area where we can continue to breathe and work on length. I know that this is slightly uncomfortable, but we're trying to lengthen wherever we are. Lengthen the knees a little bit further out, lengthen the body a little bit forward. We'll take a moment here to breathe. Deep, full breaths. If you're having trouble breathing here, then back out of the pose just a little bit. We're always trying to pull our body in two directions, forward and back, while maintaining breath and keeping a meditation throughout the practice. Drawing our awareness to the moment that we're in and being gentle with ourselves as we grow. Now on the next inhale, we're going to have our hands come forward. So if we're already here, we're working on coming a little bit more forward. If we're here, we'll come a little bit further. We're trying to still keep our spine long, so for some of us, it might just be a slight forward movement. You might also grab the chair to assist with coming forward, and you might start to reach towards the toes. If we're reaching towards the toes, we want to be very careful that we're not collapsing at our rib cage and rounding our spine. So we're trying to avoid doing this. What we want to try to do is go up first, so lengthening, and it helps to use your arms to lengthen up and then pull forward, like your arms are trying to reach the wall in front of you, not your toes. And that helps us stay a little bit taller. If you're very flexible at this point, you might reach down and touch your toes. But if you're touching your toes, you're wanting to still pull up through the chest and the rib cage. Most of us might be somewhere here, so back a little bit further here, or even right here. And that's perfectly okay. So wherever you are, find your level of flexibility, lengthen, up first and then forward. So on the inhale, we're going to pull up, and exhale, we might work a little bit farther forward. Or we might stay where we're at. We might be right here. That's okay. Inhale, up, And exhale, we might pull slightly forward. Might just stay here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And you might be sitting straight up. That's okay as well. That's still helping you lengthen. If you're straight up in an L shape, just work on lengthening up. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, let the muscles in the legs and through the spine relax. For our next exercise, we're going to start by lifting the right leg and setting the foot on the chair. So we're trying to stay tall with this as well. If coming up this high starts to round the spine, then we can pull the leg out just a little bit. So find a position where your leg is up. If you're on the ground, you can just kind of pull your leg into you. And we're going to start to spin towards the back. So level 1 of flexibility, you might wrap your left hand around your right shin and just set your right hand down on your upper leg and look forward. Level 2, we're going to start to lift the left hand forward and cross over the knee at the elbow and bring the right hand down to the back of the chair. And level 3, you might lift the left hand up so that it faces, palm faces the back wall, and cross the right hand behind the chair looking back. So find your personal level of flexibility in the twist and begin to breathe through the twist for 5 breaths. Inhale and wind the arms and bring the leg back down. Switching to the other side, so we'll bring the left leg up, right leg stays straight out in front of us. If your both legs are on the ground, you can do the twist without motion through the legs, that works as well. So this time we'll bring the right hand to wrap around the left shin, left hand rests on the upper leg. We might just look forward. Level 2, we bring the elbow and hook it in front of the knee, hand is down, and left hand comes to the side of the chair. We're still trying to draw up through the chest and open the shoulders. And level 3, we might bring the arm up. Right arm comes up, palm is facing forward. Left arm might hook around the back of the chair and we might look back. And breathe. If you're having trouble breathing where you're at, back off a pose or two. Focus on deep, full breaths. And release the arms, release the legs. One thing I love about 2-chair yoga is it's as if it brings the ground up to us. So it allows us to do some things that we couldn't just do on 1 chair. For our next exercise, we're going to draw both the legs up and then start to drop the knees out. So the feet, soles of the feet face each other, knees come out towards the sides, sit nice and tall. So most of us should be able to do this to some extent. If it's too much on the hips, then you can just keep the knees together. So level 1, the knees stay together. You wrap both hands around the shins, and you're just going to lift the chest up and forward. Level 2, the knees might be open. You might bring the arms on the inside of the legs and then wrap the hands around the ankles, fingers facing out. And you might come a little bit further. And you can adjust your feet. You might bring the chair a little bit closer to help so that you're balanced, nice and comfortable. The feet might fall out, so the soles of the feet facing up. And you might press the shoulders into the knees if that's comfortable. If that's not, just keep the knees hanging out, let gravity do the work. And we're going to start to lean forward towards the feet, keeping the spine long at first. So level 2 would be letting gravity pull the knees out. Level 3, you're pressing the elbows into the knees to get more of a stretch through the inner legs. And lifting the chest up and forward, we're leaning forward, looking at our toes. So holding here and breathing. You might start to lean a little bit more forward as you go. You might stay where you're at. You might even back off if this is causing discomfort to the hip joints or the knees. I know sometimes for me I've felt discomfort as I've done this in my hips or knees. We're really focusing on opening and breathing here. Allowing the body to relax. If you feel tension in your muscles, just starting to relax those muscles where you feel tension. Getting a nice stretch. Coming back up, you can walk your hands up the legs, start to assist the legs back onto the chair. We're going to do one more exercise here and then move into a little bit of balancing now that we're really warmed up. So let the left leg drop down, and the right leg, we're going to wrap our hands around the shin, around the shin, and we're going to start to pull the leg towards us. So we might need to pull our chair closer as well, so that it can help to support the foot, or we might pull the foot off the chair. We're trying to pull the knee into our chest. And that might look different for each of us. We might bend back a little bit as we lift the leg. It all depends on where your personal flexibility is at today. So we're just trying to bring the knee in a little bit more while we're sitting down. And that might look like this to you. It might be closer in. This is just helping you get a little bit more flexible than you were yesterday. And then try to lift up through the chest, rolling the shoulders back. And breathe. Your left foot, you're still trying to lift up as if it's pressing into a wall. So we're engaging through everything as we go throughout the practice. And release that leg, press it into the invisible wall. We're bringing the left leg up now, and then wrapping our hands around the front of the shin, pulling it in to whatever our level is, trying to lift through the chest wherever we are, and breathe. I know it's a lot to remember, a lot to do at the same time. And bring the leg back down, release the arms. If you brought your chair in closer, you might need to slide it back out. And we're going to bring the legs down one at a time back to the floor. Now, you can set the second chair aside for the moment. We'll bring it back at the end of the practice. But for now, we're going to come and stand behind our chair and do a couple of balances. So to start out, we're just going to, it's kind of like a downward dog on the chair. So we're just going to step out a little bit at a time and press our hands into the back of the chair. Now you can go as far or as close as you feel comfortable. So if you get to a certain point and you feel like you don't want to go any further, either for the stability or comfort, you can just stop here. If you stop here, you'll just start to press your hips out and back. If you want to go a little bit further, you can take a couple more steps, and then wherever you stop, you're pressing your hips back and out. So in downward dog, we're pressing our hands into the ground and our feet into the ground evenly, and we're pushing our hips back and up. In this adapted version of downward dog, we are pressing our hands into the chair as evenly as we press our feet into the ground, and then we're pushing our hips just back so that we get a nice stretch through our spine. And if you want to be closer, that's fine. You can bend the elbows a little bit. If you want, you can bend the knees a little bit. Yeah, I like that better. Let's not bend the elbows if we can help it. If you need extra bend, you can bend the knees a little bit. Just get that nice stretch. Nice long spine. Our neck is neutral. Our gaze is down towards the floor. And when you're ready, begin to walk back up to the chair. Come into a nice tall mountain pose. So this is a standing mountain pose. We'll have our feet slightly apart for balance, but we're still stacking, only this time we have shoulders stacked over hips, stacked over ankles, or stacked over knees, over ankles. So everything is stacked on top of each other so that we have a nice balanced pose. So from here, we're going to start to move into a standing balance. So we'll start by taking the left foot, and I'll just stand sideways so that you can see me, but you can stay against your chair. So we're going to take, the right foot, and we're just going to lift onto the ball of our foot with our knee turning out. So this is level 1 of the pose. Level 2, we might lift that knee slightly and come to the side of our other leg. And level 3, we might lift it a little bit higher, but we don't want to come and rest on the knee. So we'll either be on the ground out to the side, we'll come against the ankle, still on the ground, or we'll lift up to our lower leg. So from here, we'll hold and breathe. You can keep both hands on the chair, or you can have one hand on the chair and one on the waist. I'll turn back to the chair so you see what that looks like. So if we're back against the chair, you can either be holding here, or you can be holding here if you want to test your balance a little bit more. So just adapting that tree pose. If you want, you can even bring one hand to heart center, or you can bring it up above your head, depending on how balanced you feel. Continuing to breathe. If the hand has moved, you can bring the hand back to the chair and release the foot. So moving to the other side, the first step, we lift the knee and turn it out. So the ball of the foot is on the ground. Level 2, you might bring the foot in, keeping it on the ground, but the sole of the foot is pressed against the right leg. Level 3, you might lift to the lower leg. And you can hang on to the chair the whole time. If you want, take the opposite hand from foot, and you can bring it to heart center, or you can begin to lift it up. Having it on the waist is also an option. So for this one, I'm going to keep both hands on the chair. You find whatever position works best for you and continue to breathe throughout the balance. And next inhale, release the leg on the exhale. Great. Now we're going to do one more. For this, you can return to your chair. Let me show you standing, and then if you're not comfortable standing, I'll show you a version in the chair. So for this one, we're going to hang on to the chair with one hand. The other hand is going to reach down and we're going to start to lift our foot. So let's just float the foot first with the knee bent to see how it looks and how it feels. So you can start with either leg, it doesn't matter. But after you're comfortable with that, if you can, begin to lift the ankle and we're going to grab the ankle with the hand. So we'll hold the ankle here and start to lean forward and pull that leg up. So I just want you to try that if you're comfortable with the balance already. So you can set that down. I'm going to show a version in the chair for those who aren't comfortable doing it standing. So for the in the chair version, we're going to turn to the side of the chair, bringing the left hip off the side so we have some flexibility and mobility. We're going to hang on to the back of the chair. Make sure that our right foot is really grounded, and we're going to just drop the knee down towards the ground. Heel comes back towards the ceiling. You might grab the cusp of your pants if you have something like that to hold on to. You might grab your ankle here, or you might just let the foot drop back, depending on your level of flexibility. So arms, whether you're standing or sitting, you can have one on the waist. You can be holding on. So holding onto the foot is number 1. Grabbing onto your waist is number 2. And we'll just keep it at that for now. So find your position either on the chair or behind the chair. And wherever you are, we're going to hold and breathe for 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3, and slowly release the leg. So if you're on the chair, pivot over to the opposite side of the chair. Let the right hip drop off the side this time, holding onto the chair, letting the knee drop down, the heel facing up towards the ceiling. You might lift the leg with the hand. If you're standing, we're going to bring the right leg back. We're just going to test our balance for a moment, and then we're going to hang on to this chair in front of us with the left hand, and we're going to start to bring the right hand back. You might hover the foot if bringing it all the way to the hand is too uncomfortable, but you might also grab the ankle and start to lift back and up. So once you've found the pose, we're going to breathe and hold here for 3 breaths. And exhale, bring the leg back down wherever you are. And we'll move back to, we'll move back to the chairs now. So I'm going to show you 3 different versions of Shavasana. So Shavasana is our rest pose. So we'll have 2 that are leaning forward into the second chair, and then 1 that's leaning backward. So we'll start with the forward folds. So again, you can keep your feet down here if that's more comfortable, and you can just start to lean forward. And it doesn't matter, don't worry too much about staying really long here, but we're going to lean forward onto the chair And just kind of cross our hands one over the other and rest the forehead on the hands. I don't have a pillow or blankets here, but if you wanted to stack something on the chair to bring it up a little bit higher so you aren't coming down quite as far, if that's more comfortable, you can stack a pillow or a blanket, crossing either the hands or the arms and resting the forehead on hands or arms. So that's one option. Option number 2, if you don't have a blanket or would prefer to be higher up, you can turn the second chair so that the back faces you, the seat faces away from you. And you can bring either your hands or your arms onto the second chair. I like my arms because it helps to kind of cushion my forehead. And you can start to rest your forehead onto your arms and start to relax the muscles throughout the rest of your body. If you want, you can even tuck the feet underneath your first chair. So that's number 2. Number 3, you'll have this chair facing as it was before, and we're just going to prop our feet up. So even if you usually keep your feet on the ground, this might be an option for you. We're going to scoot the bum forward, put both feet up, and because we're not trying to sit tall, this might work better. You might put a pillow behind you or a blanket to soften the back of the chair behind you, but we're going to lean all the way back into the back of the chair, just letting our body relax. So we might let the legs fall out. We'll let the shoulders down. You might put your hands in your lap. You might drop the hands down by your sides. The neck might come forward or back slightly. Make sure not to really drop it, but just gently have it fall one way or another. So I'm going to let you find your preferred rest pose. If you're leaning forward onto the seat of your chair, you're going to want the legs down. And if you're doing the leaning onto the back of the chair, you'll want the legs down as well. The only one where we'll bring the legs up is if we're leaning back into the back of our sitting chair. So find whichever pose is most comfortable for you. And this is the moment where we really start to let our body relax. So if something you're doing isn't comfortable, maybe you try to sit into one of the other poses. And as you breathe, start to return to your natural breath, starting to let go of the Ujjayi breath. Starting to relax your body, doing a scan, starting with your toes, moving through your feet and ankles, moving through your calves, moving up the legs, looking at the thighs, the hips, moving through your core, through your abs, through your back and shoulders. We're just scanning the whole body and releasing any tension, loosening any muscles. Paying attention to the upper arms, the elbows, lower arms, hands, neck, spine. Relaxing through the jaw and through the eyes. Letting the whole body melt into whatever pose you've chosen. Letting your breathing become natural. Letting go of any stress that you may feel. Letting go of the worries of the day for just a moment. Allowing yourself to be completely present, completely aware of your body, completely aware of the surfaces that you're touching. Allow yourself to have gratitude for this moment, for your body, for the practice that you just did, for the blessings in your life. You can continue to stay in Shavasana for a moment more, or you can start to come back to mountain pose. You might stretch, you might wiggle. Just do whatever your body needs as a last minute practice. I'm going to come back to this chair. You can stay in the chair that you were in. We're going to press our feet evenly into the ground, finding that strong, rooted mountain pose once more, bringing the hands to heart center. When you're ready, begin to regain that deep breath, that Ujjayi breath. We'll inhale all together and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Namaste. Thank you for joining my class today.